think it's important to recognize that disagreeing with each other is good. Let me say that again. It is not bad to disagree with one another. In fact, it's part of what makes us human. The problem is that I think we have lost the ability to disagree well. What does that mean? When we disagree correctly, one of two things happens, okay? Either you're going to teach me something new, which is great, or you're going to reaffirm me in something that I already knew, which is also great, right? The more disagreements we have, you're either teaching somebody something or you're solidifying why you believe something else. That's essential. That is part of growing up. That is the part of every process that we are a part of. The difficulty comes from how are we having our disagreements? Because unfortunately, most of the disagreements we get into, we aren't listening to understand. There are people who just listen to respond. It's okay to have disagreements with somebody about something like politics, but it's never okay to disrespect somebody in the process, right? We should be willing to have conversations with others who see the world differently from ourselves, but we should never seek to go out of our way to just humiliate someone, disrespect their point of view, or take the argument from the subject that we're talking about and then trying to make the person who says it the issue. Because we're all people. We all matter. We all have value. We should owe it to one another and respect each other enough to at least try to hear each other out. I would like to challenge us to think a little bit broader. Because yes, competition is good. Competition is healthy, and it drives us further and further. Whenever creativity starts flowing, we're able to kind of compare and contrast options. But we should be listening to understand each other, not listening to respond to one another. We should be actively seeing, why does this person believe a certain way? Why are they choosing to talk on this specific subject? And do I agree with them out of principle, or do I disagree with them just because I've heard somebody else say something a different way? So, the same thing happens in FFA. If I were to ask you, who is the better FFA member, somebody with an ag background or somebody who focuses on leadership events, right? Which is better, urban or rural? We're going to have folks who fall on both sides. They're going to have different beliefs, and that's great. But the things that unify us should stand even stronger than the things that separate us. And what unifies us is the blue and gold jacket. What unifies us is the understanding that we can develop the next generation of leaders for this world because of programs like FFA. Right? We can recognize that California as a state is extremely diverse, needs a diverse thought pool, and you can be urban, you can be rural, you can be anybody from anywhere, and this organization is going to give you what you need to be successful. That's because we as FFA members, we choose to listen to understand, not just listen to respond. We choose to invest in one another and have fun along the way. As FFA members, we listen. We disagree, but we never disrespect. And if we can remember that, y'all, there is nothing that we cannot do. But fundamentally, when it comes to working with people, the biggest issue is communication, right? Miscommunications create this tense situation. And usually the thing that goes wrong is somebody didn't hear something, somebody didn't feel heard, somebody feels like they have nothing to offer. But when we intentionally listen to understand one another, that's what bridges the disconnect. And there is no reason why the person sitting in your seat right now cannot be the next world changer. It all starts with, what do you believe? Who are you willing to talk to? And are you willing to disagree with them, but respectfully? And I think that we've created this bad idea that if you argue with somebody or you don't believe exactly as somebody else, you're wrong. I don't think that's right. I think we're human. I think we're going to have differences in our beliefs and our thoughts, and that's great. So let's learn from one another. Because I can tell you, as a fifth generation farmer, from Northwest Oklahoma. There is a lot that I can learn from each and every person on this call. And vice versa, right? I think there's a lot that y'all can maybe take away from me. So let's have more conversations. Let's open more dialogue, and let's start the hard conversations that we need to have. In the end, you just got to decide, is it worth it for you to better yourself? And if it is, and if you truly want to live as a servant leader, it starts in our schools. But there's going to be a time when we're no longer cooped up. There's going to be a time when we're not relying on Zoom anymore. And when we go back, ask yourself, who are the folks who see the world completely different from myself? Within your school, who are the students that you know you disagree with? And how can we go out of our way as FFA members to create more unity within our chapter, within our school, and quite frankly, within our section, so that everybody feels like they matter, like they're a part of the conversation, and everybody has skin in the game? That's the challenge that we face. And that's the hardest part of this being separated, is it makes it really difficult to have those conversations. And that's why I